Hey guys, Welsknight here, and welcome back to another episode of FTB Inventions. And in today's episode, we are going to be doing a little bit more about our power situation. Also, I've decided on a build style for this series. I think it's going to really fit the series well. And I'll give you a hint. This house is kind of it, but not. So we're going to have to make some changes to the house. Maybe not right away, but I think I'm going to build, or at least attempt to, in kind of a steampunk style for this series, which is a style that I've never really built in before. So that should be interesting. I think it'll be a lot of fun to kind of experiment with that. And let's be honest, I mean, this pack, with the mods that are in here, this pack really kind of screams steampunk to me, with immersive engineering and a lot of the building mods and tech I mean, this is a very steampunky pack, if you ask me. Even if you look at like the logo for the pack, it's very steampunky. So I'm pretty excited for that. Now, I made a boo-boo. I made a mistake. I am playing on the FTB1 server, as I mentioned in the very first episode, which is kind of the FTB experimental server. And that means we're getting regular Modpack updates, right? So when I recorded the last episode, I think I was on version 9? Beta 9 or something like that? Beta 6 maybe? I don't know. Beta something or other. And I upgraded to the newest version of the pack, and I didn't realize that that the EE3 data that says like what stuff you've learned is not on the server files. It's on your client files. So I basically lost all of my research for EE3. Now that I know that, I know how to fix it and make sure that when I update to the new versions of the pack, we won't lose that again. But that was a little bit of a setback. I have gotten most of it back now. I did some mining, I put some resources in there and stuff like that, and I think we're fine. But what I want to start off by doing today is getting some better gear. And I think what we're going to do is ruby. Here we go. We're going to get a bunch of rubies. And the cool thing about rubies is that they are equivalent to diamond as far as your protection goes. If you look at like chest plates, diamond chest plate 8, ruby chest plate 8. So and this goes also for the sapphire and the peridot as well. So same stats essentially as diamond, but if you look in the at the EMC, diamonds have 8,000 EMC and a ruby is only about 1,000. So you can get basically 8 rubies for every 1 diamond. And that means that this is going to be a really good way for us to get kind of our early game armor, which is great. That seemed like a dupe glitch. I think, yeah. Pahamar's still working on EE3. And it actually has progressed a lot since the last time I played. Some very good updates, but there's still some things to get worked out. So let's start off by making ruby armor. There we go. And we'll just put that on, and you can see full armor. And I've got an amazing red suit that looks fabulous. So there's that. And then I need some sticks, I think, so we can make ourselves some ruby tools as well. So let's go, like that, and then we'll make ourselves a ruby sword as well, because that'll be better than what we've got. And I think that should tide us over, at least for the time being. I might make another ruby pick. And actually, I really need to make some more torches anyway. So let's make... there we go. Let's make some torches. And I think I will go ahead and make another ruby pick. There we go. I think that should be good. Okay, so we'll put all this stuff away. And then I've got something I want to show you. So if we look at the map, I'm down here. I didn't actually realize it, but Modmus is up here. I think I'm pronouncing their name right. I'm not entirely certain. But they're actually really, really close. I figured this out when I was going down here in the mines, and I came down, and on my journey map, if you look in the upper right-hand corner, you can see the little mini-map up there. I was down here, and I noticed that there was a tunnel, and I thought, oh, maybe there's an abandoned mine down here or something, kind of off in this direction. So I came over here and kind of went down, and it turns out that he's basically got, I think this is where I dug in? Yeah. He's basically got like a little thing down here, and this all connects up to his base. So we're actually pretty close to him. So that's something to kind of just be aware of, I guess. Don't know that it really affects anything at the moment. But then I also came over here, and it turns out there's a pretty big ravine up there. I hear zombies. Is there going to be one that's going to drop down on me? Probably. Let's just get our way up here. Here we go. And you can see we got a pretty good-sized ravine up here, too, which is fantastic. And there's a lot of resources here. There's a lot of gold. There's a lot of various types of ores and things like that. So, zombie, no. Just no. So I think this is a really good find for us, and this is really going to help us out, especially in the early game before we have a quarry or any of that kind of fun stuff set up. So let's poke around the cave a little bit together. Let's kind of take a look and see what have we got. Anything? This is one thing I'm very interested in. Yellowite. That's going to be used for big reactors. And when I was talking earlier about getting our power, oh, and now we're in his chunk. I can't, as you can see, I can't place stuff over there. That's how close we are. That's the only kind of downside to being that close to someone, is that we've got chunks all kind of claimed, and it kind of messes with some of that kind of stuff. So I'll have to be, basically what I'll have to do is I'll just have to make sure that when I expand my base, I'm not expanding it towards him, I'm expanding it away from him. And my phone, for some reason, is not on silent. So incredibly professional of me. I am the most professionalist of... Stop it, phone! Stop it! Hold on. I need to make my phone go on silent. There we go. Anyway, so, is there anything else around here? Some more peridot over here. That's basically like getting diamond as far as tools and armor are concerned. Pretty much useless outside of that. I don't think it is really used in any crafting recipes or anything like that, but you never know. Let's get rid of these guys. Torches. Wow, that's a lot of mobs. Okay, hold on. We're under attack. We're under siege. There we go. We good? I think we're good. I will take this. Come to me, Yellowite. I need all of you. We're going to need quite a lot of that as we go through here. But anyway, I'm going to do some mining and stuff. I'm going to see what I can come up with, and I will meet you back at the house in just a little bit. Alright guys, I am back, and I just learned something that is a little bit unfortunate. Turns out that the ruby pick is actually only equivalent to iron as far as mining level goes. I think it's definitely a little faster than an iron pick, but it is not able to mine obsidian. So, we will have to make a diamond pick, it seems, which is fine. That's not the end of the world. But I'm a little disappointed. I was hoping I'd be able to get by with these iron tools. But hey, it is what it is. It's not a big deal. Let's just light this up. And I think I'm pretty much good. I'm just going to grab this lapis, and then I think I'm going to head back to the house. I think I got a pretty good amount of stuff. I got quite a lot of gold and yellowite. Gold is actually quite useful because it has a relatively high EMC value, so we can trade that in for some good stuff. Redstone is useful because I don't redstone, so unless I'm using it for crafting recipes, that's a whole bunch of stuff that I can trade in for EMC as well. So all in all, I think we're in pretty good shape, but I'm going to go ahead and head back to the house if I can find my way. Here we go. And I will meet you there in just a little bit. Alright guys, I am back. So, we got a pretty good amount of stuff there. I do need to cook this yellorium dust into yellorium ingots, which I can use. Oh, and it does have exchange energy. Awesome. Which I can use to make the necessary components and things for the big reactor. We're also going to feed one of these in here just so we know how to pull yellorium out of our transmutation tablet. I think we'll probably have enough, though, just with what we've already got. Iron, on the other hand, I think we're probably going to need a bit more of that. Now, there's a rather interesting... I'm going to call it a duplication bug. I'm going to assume that it's a bug or an exploit, but we're totally going to take advantage of it. If you look at gold ore has an exchange energy value of about 2,000. Gold ingots have the same energy value. So, given that we can double our ores, essentially what we can do is put our ore in here, turn it into dust, double it, and then dump those ingots into our transmutation tablet to get basically infinite EMC, because we can then take that and pull out an equal amount of gold ore, exchange the ingots for ore. Now, obviously, there's a little bit of a power requirement and stuff like that, but we can do that at the moment. I'm assuming that's going to get changed at some point. I'm assuming that's not going to be a permanent thing, but nonetheless, I will take advantage of it while I can. So, I have a lot of smelting to do. I need to smelt this coal into graphite. We'll just take a look at that real quick in case you're not familiar. This is graphite, and it's made by smelting coal or charcoal. Graphite dust. Does it have... Oh, I guess it's only made smelting charcoal. I thought you could use regular coal as well. Okay. Oh, wait. There we go. Now it says... Yeah. That's what I thought. I was going to say, I could have sworn that you can smelt regular coal and turn it into graphite. There we go. And then, to get into the big reactors, there's a bunch of stuff that we need to make. We need to make a whole bunch of these reactor casings, which are iron, graphite, and yellorium. We need a controller. We need a control rod. We need a access port. And we need a power tap as well. And then we also need some of the actual fuel rods. So we've got a whole bunch of stuff that we got to craft up and make here to get this big reactor going. I'm not going to go with a super big reactor. We don't need one ridiculously powerful for our early game here. But just enough that I can power a few basic machines and stuff like that would be nice. So that's kind of the plan. I'm going to get some smelting done. I'm going to get some work done. I'll come back to you in just a little bit. Alright guys, I am back, and one thing that I've come to realize is that this is going to take a lot longer than I originally thought. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make another generator, just a basic one of some sort, and we've got a few different options. We've got a Stirling kinetic generator, we've got the Stirling generator itself from Ender IO. That might be our best bet. That's actually really inexpensive. Basically just stone bricks, a furnace, a couple of basic gears. That might be the way to go. And I think that generates 20 RF per tick off the top of my head. I think that's probably going to be the way to go. So let's grab some cobble, because I need some stone. I need some smooth stone. And the fastest way to get smooth stone would certainly be to just get smooth stone out of here, like so. There we go. Looks good. And then convert that into stone brick. There we go. And actually, let's go ahead and drop one of those stone bricks into our book so we can learn how to make stone brick, just to save ourselves a step in the future. But now we need to see about making our actual Stirling generator, and I think I've got everything I need for this as well. Yeah, this should be good. So I'm going to need 8 sticks, and I believe that's the recipe? No, hold on. Let's just take a look. What's the recipe for the basic gears? Oh, cobblestone. Oh, okay. I thought it was... fine. Not a big deal. I'll take it. There we go. No, is it this way? There we go. Okay, 2 basic gears. And then we need a piston and a furnace. And I think that is everything to make the Stirling generator. And essentially what this will do, as I had said, it will basically just generate power. I think it's about 20 RF per tick. By burning solid fuel, like coal, for example. So if I take this guy up here and I just plop him down right here, put a wire connector on top, and connect that up to here, this thing should be able to start generating a bit more power for us. Yeah, see, that's filling up now. Much faster than it was before, so I think that will do. And then let's throw this pulverized gold in here, because we're going to need that to make more EMC and all that kind of stuff. But I'm going to let this thing do its thing, and I'm going to get back to smelting. I'll come back to you in just a little bit. All right, guys, I am back. So some of this stuff is still smelting up, which is fine. We've also got some of this stuff up here smelting up as well. I got gold being pulverized and all this kind of good stuff. Let's actually take these out, get that going again. But basically, I did run down and grab 14 obsidian so we can make an enchanting table and a nether portal, because there's no tinkers in this pack, so enchantments are actually somewhat useful. And we also have enough stuff that I think we can get started on making our reactor casings. So, let's do this. That'll make a stack's worth, which is not going to be enough, I'm sure, but it will be a good start. And then let's see what we can knock out as far as some of the rest of this stuff goes, because basically, once we have this, we can just focus on making reactor casings. So let's start with the reactor controller. I'm going to need a diamond, I'm going to need a redstone, and some of these reactor casing blocks. So, I believe it is like that. There's our reactor controller. Then we need a reactor power tap. I'm going to need redstone, actually, for a lot of this stuff. So let's go ahead and make, or control rod, I should say. And then let's go ahead and make the power tap next. We need an access port, which is actually going to require a piston and a chest. Didn't realize that. Okay, not a big deal. Grab a little bit of iron out of here. And let's make a piston and a chest. There we go. So there's our access port. And then I just need a yellorium fuel rod, probably 2 for now? Yeah, I think 2 for now should be good. That should be fine. And then the rest of this we'll just do with regular old reactor casing. So we might actually have enough stuff right now to do this. Let's see, where should I put, if I could put my big reactor like right here, that would actually be a really good spot for it. So let's just kind of carve out a little spot in the ground, and it's only going to be like a 2 high reactor, or a 3 high reactor altogether. 4 high reactor. Ooh, that is grass. That means we can't put it there, can we? Okay. Well, since it's a big reactor, we can be a little sneaky with it and do something kind of like this, although the downside is that it's going to be hard to adjust the control rod. I just thought of that. Maybe this really isn't the best place to put it. Now that I'm actually kind of thinking about this, I think we'd probably be better off going with some other option, some other location. I suppose we could dig out another little area maybe like here, that goes down a little ways. Although here I'm going towards... Yeah. Let's not dig this way. Let's go the other way. Oh, stop it. There we go. Let's actually go here and start digging down in this direction instead. Just a little ways, and we'll put stairs in here so that we can actually get down. And I think this is probably about all the farther we'd actually need to go. And I do want a nice big staircase. That I know for sure. Probably about here is what I'm thinking. So let me get a room hollowed out, and I will come back in just a little bit. All right, guys, I am back. So I've got a room hollowed out. It's a 7 by 9, and our reactor is going to go back here. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're just going to hollow out a little 5 by 5 area right here. This will be where the reactor itself goes, I think. And that gives us a fair amount of space over here to do stuff. Here we go. So this will be our reactor. Okay. Then we'll take our reactor casings, plop all those down over here, like so. I'm going to put a fuel rod there and there with a control rod on top. And then we're actually going to take this area directly above the reactor, and I'm actually going to raise that just a little bit, just so we can kind of get up there and see the top of the rod if we need to, because then we can adjust the insertion, which basically it controls how much power the reactor will output and how much fuel it will consume, which is a really useful thing to be able to control. So now that we've got that, let's go ahead and put some of these guys in place. And I think I'm going to put reactor controller there, power tap here, and access port over here. And then we basically just need to fill all of this stuff in. But I'm going to need quite a few more reactor blocks, as you can see. So actually, by now we probably have all the stuff we need. Probably enough graphite smelted. 16 there, 16 there. Iron, I think we're probably going to be good. Let's just make a number of them. There we go. And let's give this a try. Let's just see. Will this turn into a big reactor as I expect it to? It should. Yeah, there we go. We got ourselves a big reactor. Not too bad for episode 3. All right. But I need to dress up this room a bit as well, and we need to get some fuel in here. So that should be good. And then I also need a way to get up here so I can change just how much this will consume. So I think I'll set it to just like 10% for now. And then let's turn this thing on. Activate. And we don't have any sort of casing, insulation, or basically anything in there right now. Eventually, we can make this a lot better. But we're using 0.4 millibuckets per tick, generating 350 RF per tick. So that's not terrible. If I increase this, it'll generate a lot less. So actually, I had this backwards. Insertion, the higher it is, the less power you'll generate, but the less fuel you use as well. And realistically, right now for our needs, 60, maybe, let's see. realistically, this would be 100 RF per tick. That would meet our needs for what we're using right this very moment. I'm going to let this thing run so the energy buffer can start filling up. But let's talk about decorating this room. So let me get some stuff together. Let me do a little work on the room. I'll come back to you in just a little bit. All right, guys, I am back, and I think I've got a design that I'm relatively happy with. So we're going to take cobble. Most of this is going to be cobble just because it's what I have at the moment. We're going to take these small cobblestone bricks and kind of lay them around here. And then just kind of randomly throughout the rest of this, I'm going to mix up these textures just a little bit. These look to be identical. Huh? What? That doesn't make any sense. We've got small, French. Okay, well, let's go with the small ones then. See if those look any better. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. I don't know. Either way, let's just do... Yeah, that mixes it up a little bit. Okay, so we get something going like that. Now, I want to actually get some logs in here, some spruce. So let's grab a little bit of spruce out of here. Wow, that's all the logs I have? That's all the logs I have. Wow, that's a lot less than I thought. I can make more, though, using the using E3 if I need to. Okay, so what I'm thinking is we'll put right here. Well, maybe not right there. Actually, let's not put a log there. Let's go... We're going to go with our stone brick combination that we've been using before between the detailed and the aligned. So let's just kind of get those in. I'm just kind of mixing these as best I can, make them, mostly random. Like that. And then we'll take the other ones, just kind of do something like this. It's going to be a very gray room, no doubt about that. But I think that's okay. I mean, it's a reactor room. So I think that is probably perfectly fine for this particular room to be a little bit on the gray side. Let's just do that as well. I think you guys probably can kind of see what's going on here at the moment. Now, I need a crafting table, and I need just a couple of ladders. Because what I'd like to do is have ladders so you can get up here and access the top, which I think is pretty easy to do. Let me go ahead, though, and get the rest of the walls filled in, and I'll come back to you in just a little bit. All right, guys, I'm back. I got the walls filled in. So now what I'd like to do is I'd actually kind of like to block this back portion behind the reactor off, like this. I need my axe. This guy's not supposed to go on top of the reactor. Here we go. So we're going to do something like this, and then I think we'll probably take these spruce logs and kind of extend them all the way into the wall, like that. I think that should be good. Now, this is obviously a spawnable area, which is not something that we want. So we'll have to be a little bit careful here. But now we can start working on our ceiling, and I want this area up here to be tall enough that I can stand up here. So let's start by putting in the ceiling here, maybe? We'll just kind of do something like this, I think. It doesn't need to be, like, I don't want it to be super high. I just want it to be high enough. Yeah, that'll do. That'll do, I think. And then maybe here, I suppose we could just do this again. How would that look? Like this is the top of the reactor. which I think works. This is going to have to be a staircase level right here. Right here is where it'll have to go, which is fine. So let's go and fill these bits in, and then we just need our oak stairs. And I think that will be enough of them. And we'll just put those right there. And that way there is a way to get up here and mess with the reactor controller or do maintenance if we want to add more rods in, which we will almost certainly want to do at some point. We have those options, and that's really the important thing. So now let's go ahead and hook this guy back up. There we go. That looks good. We've got a pretty decent amount of iron that's been pulverized up here. And I think it would be to our benefit to go ahead and make the hopper, the integrated hopper mechanisms right now. Oh, I got to do this as well. So let me get some work done. I'll be back with you in just a minute. All right, guys, I am back, and I think this is everything I need. No. That's the integrated servo mechanism. I need the hopper one. So it's what? Iron ingots? Iron. There we go. Or iron nuggets, I should say. I almost made the wrong one. That would have been slightly embarrassing, but there we go. We got 2 of those, and I can actually just turn this back into an ingot. And let's put that stuff away. Okay. So that's all good. Now, we can take these and put those into... Actually, hold on. Let me grab some stuff for demonstrative or demonstrative, however you want to pronounce it, purposes. Let's grab all of this lovely ore right here, this unprocessed ore. Take all of that with us. And essentially, also, let's check and see how we doing on fuel. Pretty good. Okay, so we'll go in here, we'll take out the redstone circuitry because I really don't need that ability in any of these. And we'll do that. And then when we put this stuff into this chest, what's going to happen is the pulverizer, using that hopper mechanism, will yank it out of this chest and deposit it here, where it will then be grabbed by the redstone furnace, which will deposit it here. So essentially, we dump our ores in here, they'll get doubled and placed into this chest over here, and there we go. Very simple early ore doubling system, very reliable, in fact, as well. I might shift this over 1 block just so it's a little bit more symmetrical, but for now, to make up for it, I'm just going to put that crafting table there. And we should probably put a torch, like here. Or actually, we can put torches... Oh, we can't put torches there. We can put torches up here at the top. That should do the trick. Will it be super dark here if I don't put a torch here? Not too bad. I think we're good with that. So there you have it, guys. We have ourselves a big reactor. Not too shabby. But I am out of time for this one, guys. So if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave me a comment. I do appreciate it. It really helps out my channel. You can also find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. There are links in the video description below, so check that out as well. Otherwise, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll definitely see you next time.